This is a basic tutorial on how to use Gimkit. Gimkit is an online-based tool that can be used for game-based learning and assessment. It's actually designed by a high school student who wanted to improve upon Kahoot. So you'll see many similarities between Gimkit and Kahoot. Overall, I prefer Gimkit to Kahoot. Unlike Kahoot, where students go and whoever clicks the fastest gets the most points, students go at their own pace with Gimkit. The more questions they get right in a row, the more money they get. If they get questions wrong, they do lose money. And the more questions in a row they get wrong, the more money they do lose. First thing to do is make sure you create an account. I have used my school email for this one. You can hook up a Google account as well. Please do note that there are only, with the free Gimkit, only a certain amount of kits that you can create, but you can create as many email addresses as you want. I do have 3 created at the moment. They do not ask you to verify your email. They will send you updates. You can always change this in settings. And so far, I have not found any issues with having more than one account. First thing to do is to create your Gimkit. For me personally, I never create one brand new because that's a lot of work. So I always go and search to see if someone else has done the work for me. Let's say you're looking for a review for figurative language. You type in the search bar figurative language and press return. Now I am on my iPad, so I am in a more mobile-like browser as opposed to a full browser. So there are some things in the full browser that are a bit more accessible. For instance, you can hover over any of the Gimkits on the left and it will give you a preview. That is not available on the mobile browser, and I am using Google Chrome. In order to get into a Gimkit, you just click on it. If it's one you don't want to use, you just click the back button. Once you have found one that you want to use, you can play it right away, or you can copy it into your own kits. Once it is copied into your own kit, you can play it, or you can also go and edit it. From the edit one, you can go and easily change answers. From what you do not like, you just click on the button. You can add more than one right answer, change it. There is a text component. However, do notice that they have to type in exactly as it is shown, including capitalizations. Once you are ready, you press Finish Kit, and then you play. Here are your options. You do have Classic, which is great for one-to-one, where students compete individually. There is a team where you could have one device around students and they could choose the answer from there. Kit codes I have not used yet, but you can put them up in your classroom so students can play at a later time. I normally use the time version. This is where they give students a certain amount of time to get as much money as they can before time is out. Race is where the first one reaches the amount of money you want and they are the winner. All in is where students work together to get how much money you assign. I do not start them with any cash. The benefit of starting them with cash is there is a store. And if you give them cash, students can start spending money right away. I do always have a handicap. I work with 7th graders. If they get frustrated, they tend to go and see how much money they can lose. So I tend to put it around -5, -10. Students can still get questions wrong, but it tends to keep them more focused on not trying to see how low they can go. I like students to be able to check their answers, especially with the time. This goes and allows students to see if they can get the question right if it appears again, because once they are out of questions, which are randomized in an order, they will get repeats. Music and clapping doesn't bother me, but you can click on it to turn it off or turn it back on. I always have the join in late button. I teach about 90 students, and when I use this, there maybe are 1 to 2 students who end up getting kicked out, and this way they can join back in. I do have to say I think students get kicked out more because of my Wi-Fi as opposed to anything. The site does work very well. For shop options, the power-ups are anything from going and getting extra money on one question to going and having different levels that they can buy so they can get more money per question they get right. I normally have the themes turned off simply because it changes the background and normally it's kind of frivolous money to spend. I don't tell students how to spend their money. I kind of make them figure it out on their own. I would suggest, especially the first time you play, you do clean power-ups only. There are power-ups that will take money away from players. Students love this, but please do note that it can get very nasty, so make sure you warn your students if there are the clean power-ups button only is turned off. Once you're ready, you click continue. And this is where it's going to go and pop up a page that is very similar to Kahoot. It gives you gimkit.com/play, which students type right into their browser. Once they hit enter, they will go and have a type in game code. That is the only thing they will see. They type in the game code. They will then type in their name. One fun thing is they can go and they can draw on their screen as they are waiting. If you do not want students to have the option to choose their own nickname, you can set up a class. Please do note I am in a middle school, so I always have to make sure that I am keeping student information safe. They do not ask for student email. The only information you put in when you create your classes is the student's first name. You do not need to put in their last name. You can just put in their initial. As students are entering, once you're ready, you press start game and away they go. I find Gimkit is something that students very much enjoy. They always are asking me when is the next time they play it. I do hope it is something that you look further into and try out with your students.